What's up, y'all? Regular Joe here, and today we're gonna dive into my Royal Rumble predictions. I'm gonna save surprise entrance for another video, but here's what we are gonna get into. First and second entrance, Rumble workhorses, Rumble Hulks, and of course, the Hulkbusters, as well as number 30. And finally, we're gonna get into who I think is gonna win each individual Rumble. But first, if you haven't subscribed already, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll be in Indianapolis this weekend. In fact, I'm recording this before I head out there. So if you want to see the Superstore, I might slide into WrestleCon for a little bit and just around the stadium. I'm your guy. I'll be posting all weekend and I'll be live streaming. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get into the video. As we know, normally the first and second entrants either have a storied history together or they're about to embark on a journey together. Sometimes a little of both. But nonetheless, there's always a story to be told. This year's story for the men's Royal Rumble is going to be the viral moment that could be had. So coming in at number 1 and number 2 in the men's Royal Rumble for me, it's gotta be Jey Uso and Trick Williams. This just seems like a WWE move. I highly doubt they're going to pass up on an opportunity to have a mega viral moment of fans, not just fans, 60,000 fans, yeeting and singing to Whoop That Trick. We already saw something like this down on NXT, and if they could do it inside of a football stadium, like I said, with 60,000+ fans, WWE is more than likely going to do it and upload it to TikTok, YouTube, every other social media platform within minutes of it happening. Now, on the flip side, we have the Women's Royal Rumble, and this one is just short, sweet, and simple. Roxanne Perez and Bayley. It just makes sense. The two have been recently beefing all up and down the roster. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, The Street, The Moon. They're kind of like Peter Griffin and the Chicken and Family Guy. So I just look for these two to be the serious counterpart to the playful yeet / whoop that trick moment. Now, in terms of workhorses, normally this is someone who comes in probably the first 10 entrants, and they're pretty much there until the final go-round. Maybe not necessarily the final 4, but usually pretty damn close. Now, for the men, he's going to be one of our first 2 competitors to even enter the Royal Rumble if we're going by this video, and it's going to be Jey Uso. I just can't see them not giving Jey Uso a very strong showing and him just coming up short in the end. After all, it would make sense and it would fit the role of entering 1 or 2, because then they could just protect Jey by saying he was fatigued at the end of the match, but he gave it his all and he fell just short one more time. Now, on the flip side of things, it's gonna be our girl of the hour, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair has been out for, what, like 18 months at this point? It seems like forever. She should have a lot of energy pent up because she's definitely going to need it for this Royal Rumble. So look for Charlotte Flair to pretty much go coast to coast, go the distance. Maybe, again, not coming in at 1 or 2, but possibly as early as 3 or 4. Now we're going to take a look at who's going to be the Incredible Hulk of each Royal Rumble. We're just going to go start with the women's because this one's a little more obvious. There really aren't many other options other than Nia Jax. She's big, she's pissed off, and she's believable. Although, normally the person playing the monster / Incredible Hulky role doesn't ordinarily make it to the Final 4. This year, Nia Jax is the exception to that. Whether you like her or you hate her, Nia Jax had a hell of a year, and I'm pretty sure WWE is going to continue to look to build on that momentum, and I'm sure she'll be in the thick of things until the very end. Now, on the men's side of things, there are more options. The obvious one here would absolutely have to be Braun Strowman. However, after Saturday night's main event, I'm not even sure if we see Braun Strowman in this Royal Rumble just to sell what Jacob Fatu did to him. And again, let's be clear, the monster normally comes in, dominates for a short period of time, and then they meet someone who comes out and kind of stops them. That's where the Hulkbuster role comes in. So initially, I was going to sit here and say that Jacob Fatu was going to play the role of the Hulk, but I really can't see anyone coming in and stopping him. So to fill this short bursting role, I'm going to go with Omos. He recently just vacated his newly won tag team championships from when he was over in Japan because he was coming back to the US, This just makes the most logical sense. We know WWE can sometimes be a stranger to logic, though. But still, my pick is going to be Omos. So naturally, the Hulkbuster would seem like it would be Jacob Fatu. But I don't think so. I think at this point, Jacob Fatu already ran through the match, dominated. Unfortunately, because he's tired, kind of got handled a little bit by Omos. This is when we enter the OTC Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's right. Roman Reigns is probably going to be a later entrant in this match. And initially, I actually had Roman Reigns coming in and repaying the favor to CM Punk by evening the odds in a 2v1, maybe 3v1 scenario where the new bloodline is just beating on CM Punk. But for this scenario, we're going to go with Roman Reigns coming out and leveling the playing field with Omos. I think we may even see a small temporary alliance between Roman Reigns and the new bloodline members in the ring just to get Omos out, and then they go to war with each other. So now let's get to talking about the 30th spot in each Royal Rumble. So I know naturally you're kind of assuming that the number 30 spot would have produced the most Royal Rumble winners. You'd be correct, but this is more of a recent thing. In fact, the first person to win the Royal Rumble at the number 30 position was The Undertaker in 2007. Before all of these recent events, the number 27 spot actually held the most wins for a Royal Rumble winner. In a way, having number 30 was actually kind of like a kiss of death before 2007. So for the Women's Royal Rumble, I'm actually going to say, you know what, I'm not even going to get fancy with this one. I think we see Becky Lynch return in this spot. The Royal Rumble is going to be filled with surprises for the women because they've only announced like 7 women, if that. So I think to cap off what's probably going to be a very, very good Royal Rumble for the woman, they're going to end it with an exclamation point, and they're going to bring back the man, Becky Lynch. All right, I'm going to cheat a little on this one. I'm going to give you both my winner, and I'm going to actually say that she might really be number 30, not Becky. I'm going to go with Jordynne Grace. I think she's put in her time with NXT. WWE has seen her, and WWE really wants her because of the big match potential that she possesses, and the fans are going to want to see it once the casual fan lays their eyes on her. She is legit. She is just an absolute unit. And this is probably the only way to not make both Becky and Charlotte look weak. You could have them two return earlier in the match and just beat the living hell out of each other. I could even see them returning back to back just to encapsulate that monster pop that you're going to get from them. Which is why Jordynne Grace is going to come in at number 30 and just start hauling ass and throwing people over the top rope and showing her dominance. Because they need to make her look like a monster to set her up for her WrestleMania match. More on that in another video. So there you have it. Jordynne Grace is both my number 30 and my Royal Rumble winner for the Women's Royal Rumble. Last but not least, we have to get into the Men's Royal Rumble. You know what? Scratch that. I'm going to say Jordynne Grace comes in at number 29, and we see maybe Trish Stratus or Lita or someone like that, maybe a Molly Holly, come in at number 30. Sorry guys, the Women's Rumble is just a little bit unclear at the moment. But yeah, Jordynne Grace wins, but she doesn't come in at 30. It's either going to be a legend or still Becky Lynch. Moving on to the Men's Rumble though. And this is primarily why I changed my mind on the winner coming from the 30 spot in the Women's Rumble. Because the winner in the Men's Rumble is coming from the 30 spot. Remember just last month when the Netflix Raw debut occurred and we had The Rock virtually undo pretty much all of his final boss character? Well, I'm here to tell you today that was not in vain and it actually meant nothing. That's right, guys. The final boss, The Rock, is back for vengeance, and he's here because all of you Cody crybabies made this happen, and now it's gotta happen. The Rock is entering at number 30 and winning the Men's Royal Rumble. Yeah, basically what had happened was that whole Netflix thing was partially Netflix execs and the Rock protecting the stocks and the company and blah, 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 blah. And obviously Netflix was going to open up WWE Raw to thousands, possibly millions of people who have not consumed WWE in quite some time. So he was there to serve as a familiar face. But it was twofold, you see, because last year when The Rock was set to give us the main event of a lifetime, the People's Champ versus the Tribal Chief in Roman Reigns and The Rock, all you Cody crybabies squandered it. So now he's back for vengeance. Netflix debut was chess, not checkers, my man. If you think about it, this could be the biggest heel plot twist in the history of plot twists. The Rock has lulled everyone to sleep thinking he is no longer a part of WrestleMania plans, and then come Saturday, he comes out full final boss gear, has Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, maybe even Solo Sikoa take care of everybody in the ring, and The Rock's gonna win the Royal Rumble without ever even entering the ring. A man could stand on the stage, it's not gonna matter. The rest of the bloodline can eliminate themselves, or they could come back in and interfere after already being eliminated. And unfortunately, the good guy doesn't win all the time, which is why The Rock is going to enter number 30, and he's going to win the Royal Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania 41 against Cody Rhodes. But come Saturday, Lucas Oil Stadium, the final boss is gonna get the last laugh, and you can like it, you can love it, or you can hate it, but you will respect it.